Welcome back to Some Kind of Fun. Season 2, the finale, final episode.
Ooh.
Might be a cliffhanger. Actually, there's no cliffhanger, but I'd like to think that there might be. And we have Katy Vernon with us.
Yay! Thank
Katy,
you for having
welcome.
me. Thank you for squeezing me in. Such a
Yes.
busy week, such a busy time of year.
So great to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
So, you've got a lot going on.
I do. Yeah, I've been scheming for a while.
Yeah.
So, people think that it's all very planned and laid out, but it took a long time. I've been planning to get a new band together.
Yep.
For 3 years really, because in 2021 the Katy Vernon band called it an
Right.
end in the summer of 21, and kind of almost immediately I was writing kind of sad and angry breakup songs to just kind of find my way through.
Work through it a little bit.
I mean, not like, it was, it's a breakup. So, I mean, they're always challenging. But, I was happy for everybody going in their separate ways too. But it definitely, stirred up a lot of feelings of can I keep doing this?
Sure.
And on the heels of 2020 shutdowns, I didn't know if I really even had a path that was kind of viable in music,
Right.
which it's actually taken me until quite recently to realize was some internalized misogyny and ageism, because it's I fight against those things, but I was also telling myself these really, kind of unhelpful,
Yeah.
just kind of,
Sometimes
you're
the
done.
self-talk is...
It's awful. It's the worst. And that's why I write songs in the first place.
Exactly.
But I kind of realized I was writing kind of happy, pull yourself up, kind of feminist anthems. And I was like, who am I writing these for? And I'm like, oh, I'm clearly writing them for myself. And so I did feel like I need to get back out there again. These songs are bigger than just me and a ukulele.
Yeah.
Because I never stopped, gigging.
Right.
I was, really pretty busy, but I was kind of just not feeling really confident of what I was doing and kind of what was next. And then, you start to see everybody else play venues and shows that you wish you were playing. And I wanted to play them with a band. So, so it was a lot of different factors. And here I am, the other side of it. And finally, we just released our first song, which was really exciting.
And the new
couple of
band
months
is
ago.
Favorite Girl.
The new band is Favorite Girl, and it's full of women. That was my goal. Because
Women and Paul.
And Paul, yeah. Paul was going to come here tonight, so we'll just have a little pretend Paul next to me. He had a last-minute child-related commitment, so he couldn't come. But, Paul Odegaard and I have played music together for 10 years, we realized, which is cool. He's an amazing trumpet player, if people don't know. And he was in, the Katy Vernon band. And on my lowest days where I was just I don't think we'll ever find the right people, and who's going to want to book us anymore, just sad stuff. He was always, really good about texting and saying, these songs are too good to not go anywhere. And, I'll be with you in your band and it will happen. And it was good. It was just, everybody needs a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And it's been a rough few years, it still is.
It's
But we
rough
need
few
music.
years for, everybody.
Everybody needs music, yeah. And the kind of feelings I was having, I was really trying to make sure it wasn't jealousy or competitive feelings. It was more I just don't want to give up on myself. I want to get out there and and do what I love seeing other people do.
Yeah.
Which is rock. And so the music got kind of rockier and rockier.
Yeah.
And then I found the right people. So that's really exciting. So we've got Elise Emanuel on drums. Amazing. I saw you dancing to her, Kiss the Tiger. She's amazing.
An amazing band.
Isn't she incredible?
It's just such an awesome band.
She's just so wonderful. And then Ali Picala is our lead guitarist. And she, up until Favorite Girl, was always a bass player.
Okay.
And her and Elise have known each other since since they were really young. I haven't actually asked them how young, but they met going through, well, I shouldn't say they met. They made bands together. I don't know if they knew each other before that, going through the girls' rock and roll camp.
Oh, okay.
And then the latest addition to the band is Daisy Forrester on bass. And
Okay.
she not only also went through girls' rock and roll camp, which is Jenny Case's amazing
Right.
organization, and Jenny Case and I are in an ABBA band together. But she was also a fan of the teenage band that Ali and Elise had together.
wow.
And I didn't even know that till we all got together in a room, and Daisy was literally looking around the room at the teenage posters that Elise's mom had put up. Elise didn't put them up, but and she was just like having this fangirl moment, and I was kind of looking like a proud mother. You know, I was just like, oh, they're all
My
in the same room
kids.
together. Yeah, I mean that is also something like I have already had someone ask if I'm playing in a band with my kids, and I'm like. Ah. So yeah, it's a good band. I'm really excited about
I've
it.
seen you in a couple
have.
iterations
You
now. I'll have
have.
to hear the newest
Yep.
lineup now.
Yeah, well, and speaking of other lineups, we started out the band with Jenny Case.
Right.
Her and I playing Abbasolutely Fab together, and I had said to her, that I was starting this band, and she casually kind of, mentioned. Turns out she didn't even remember saying it, but I remember her saying one time that she didn't want to join any other bands because she's in so many, and unless she could play drums in a rock band. And I was just like, oh no, was it drums? No, yeah, drums. And so, when I formed a favorite band, I was like, and I want you on the drums. And she's like, I don't remember saying that, and I don't play drums. But she did join, and kind of got us going. But it was, kind of too much of a commitment for her. And then the same thing happened with Barb Brunstad,
Right.
the amazing Barb Brunstad. And Barb stepped away very recently, and that's why Daisy came in again. She just didn't really have the time.
Yeah.
And I think, Katy Vernon, speaking in the third person, I think I would have really been devastated by that even maybe a year ago. And now I'm at a point where I'm choosing to believe in the band and in myself and go, you know what? There's always going to be bumps in the road. So you don't give up because
Right.
of that. And she helped us find Daisy. So it all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit about your childhood. You're
Yeah.
not from here.
Not from here, no. I was born and raised in London.
Yeah.
And I met, it's so weird, speaking of looking like your bandmates' moms. I have a 21-year-old and a 22-year-old, and it's wild to think that when I was 21, I married their dad and moved to America.
Oh.
He's from Southern Iowa, so... That's really weird to look at your kids and be like, what was I doing when I was your age? Like,
You're way too young to get married.
well, just this morning, my youngest daughter, she's just turned 21 this month, and she was like, and you left your country, like, at this age. And I was like, yeah, I did. That's like so wild.
Did your musical career start over there? Were you playing music when you were
I was
in
always
England?
singing. Yeah, I love doing like theater, kind of singing. So I'm a theater major. I'm finally my day job is finally in a theater, so I feel like I'm using my degree, which
Nice.
for 30 years was like tentative, but. Yeah, so I was always into kind of musical theater and just always loved singing. I actually sang with our school jazz band.
Okay.
And we were pretty good. Like I think back on it, at the time it just seemed normal, but now I look back on it, like we toured Austria, which is a bit of a
Wow.
random place to go, but it was beautiful. And then toured Canada when I was, did like a exchange kind of thing
Yeah.
when I was 16, and I was
Wow.
the featured singer. There were no other singers. So
Yeah.
it was just me doing my best Whitney Houston, which is a lot for a 16-year-old white English girl, but I did my best, and yeah, I was just always really, really into singing, but never really put a lot of energy into learning how to accompany myself. So I was a very mediocre guitar player,
Okay.
and that was how for 20 years I was the girl singer in front because I just kind of always let the guys behind me play the music.
Right.
And there was nothing wrong with that dynamic. Some of my favorite bands have that dynamic. I mean, Mary Bew, one of your
Sure.
recent guests, standing there, playing beautifully herself and having a bunch of guys in the band. And that's what I did for a long time. But I really felt like I needed to kind of be able to play solo. as
Yeah.
well. And so in my late 30s, picked up a ukulele, which is, the most rock and roll instrument you can get. And it just really helped me start songwriting again. Because
Yeah.
I was always writing songs. I mean, even when I was like 12,
Yeah.
12, 13. I recently just watched one of the new Wham documentaries. It was a stretch for a documentary to do a whole hour on the song Last Christmas, but I appreciate their commitment. But it was, it was kind of fun to go down memory lane because I was a huge Wham fan.
Oh,
So a lot of my first songs basically sounded like Wham met Madonna and, made a little Katy Vernon song. So.
Yeah, George and Madge. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, they would have been a good pair. I don't know who had the best hair, but yeah. So I was always a songwriter, but kind of in search of figuring out how to, actually accompany myself.
Yeah.
And now, I'll play like 2.5 hours solo shows and
Yep.
have to kind of pinch myself that, I can do
Yeah.
that, which is great because, it's encouraging. Anyone can pick up an instrument.
So you've got Favorite Girl going.
Yes, favorite
You've got
girl.
your solo shows.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
you've
duo
got...
shows too. So I mentioned Paul.
Right, okay.
And sometimes Paul and I will play as a
Okay.
duo, which is fun. And then about 7 years ago, I want to say, like 2016, I almost jokingly kind of mentioned on Facebook. It was actually on a Little Man thread. So
Okay.
he was posting about some stuff, and then someone made fun of ABBA. Just, kind of out of nowhere. And I said, well, first of all, I think ABBA's amazing. And second of all, if anyone ever wants to start an ABBA tribute band, call me up. And Jenny Russ, who I didn't know that well, I knew
Yeah.
David, like much better than Jenny, said, yeah, count me in. I want to be Frida. And because she said she wanted to be Frida, I was like, we are going to be friends forever. Because if she'd said Agnetha, I would have been like, I don't think so. But we were just immediately compatible because she has been obsessed with, singing along to Frida's parts since she was
Oh,
little.
yeah.
And, I was jumping around my bedroom in my PJs and pretending to be, Agnetha. So, yeah, we
Yeah.
have a ton of fun doing that.
And then the rest of the band is...
The rest of the ABBA band.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got 2 married couples, which
Okay.
makes it very ABBA, which is great. So we've got Jenny and then Dave Russ on the drums.
Yep.
And then we've got Jenny Case and her husband, Rod Smith.
Yep.
So they're both the guitarists. And then we've got Simon Husbands, who I was in
Sure.
the Katy Vernon band with. So, see, we all get along. It's all
Yeah.
good. And he's British too, which is
Yep.
fun. And then on the bass, we've got John Hunt. So
Nice.
we're a pretty solid lineup, and we have a ton of fun doing it. I think probably the most fun I've had with them was not this summer, but the summer before. We played at the State Fair,
Oh, yeah.
and that was amazing. And I mean, there were literally thousands of people there.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. Like, we played the International Bazaar
Sure.
stage, and there were people. It was just a sea of people all the way back, to whatever building
Yeah.
is back there. I mean, all the way outside of the gates, and just clamoring.
that's
And
wonderful.
teenage girls trying to touch us. And we're like, we're not the real band. Like, I literally live in Waitbeer Lake. Like, it was just, it was really wild. It was really fun. But that's that's not us. That's ABBA.
Right.
And we absolutely know. That wasn't even a pun. Absolutely fab. We know that it's ABBA that they love, but we feel proud that we do it well,
Yeah.
because it's difficult. It's very difficult music. So.
And now your GoFundMe was fully funded.
Yes, it was. So
And
I
so
did
what's
a GoFundMe.
what's coming
yeah.
up in terms of how the music gets released?
Yeah, well, so we did one single called "Favorite Girl," so that seemed to be a good way.
Yeah.
Not like I want to be all into marketing, but I was just like, well, it's the name of the band, and we're brand new, so here's the song called the same thing. And then the second single comes out on the 3rd of January.
Okay.
And that is called Not Going Back. And that was very fun to make a video for, because
Yeah.
I kind of gathered. I just said, if anyone wants to be in this video, send me a selfie holding up a sign saying Not Going Back. And I've got almost 80
Nice.
people, which is really fun. And, it's a lyric video, so it kind of makes sense that people are holding up the sign, because that's the chorus. And then after that, I think I think that might be it for singles.
Okay.
Because now I just want to kind of get in the studio and do the rest of it. So
Yeah.
we'll be digging in and doing 8 more songs and
Okay.
having an album of 10 songs.
Nice.
Maybe by the summer. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Thank you
much
for
for
having
coming
me.
and being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.